Are you a sadist or a masochist? And as always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Welcome back. Today I want to dive deeper into two complicated concepts, sadism and masochism. These words often bring to mind sexual fantasies, dungeons, and whips. But the truth is, they can appear in everyday life too. You might see hints of these behaviors in how people interact at the office, in a group of friends, or even school. Yes, they're frequently associated with sexual play, but the underlying emotions and drives can show up anywhere people have relationships and power dynamics. Let's clarify what these terms mean. Sadism, finding enjoyment in causing others discomfort or pain. It's when making someone else suffer feels oddly satisfying. Me. I'm a sadist. Masochism, finding enjoyment in receiving discomfort or pain. It's when you feel a strange relief of pleasure in being on the receiving end of harsh punishment. At first glance, these desires might seem unnatural. Why would anyone like hurting someone else? Or being hurt themselves? But let's strip away the judgments and look at where these drives really come from. What psychologists have discovered is that behind both sadism and masochism is often an old story of pain. Before a person becomes a sadist or a masochist, they're usually hurt themselves, often at a time when they couldn't fight back. Maybe it was during childhood, maybe in a past relationship, and at some point they felt hopeless, scared, and victimized. The mind, in trying to cope, can take two different roads to avoid feeling that helplessness again. If you lean towards sadism, it might be because you once felt powerless. Imagine you were bullied or mistreated. You were on the losing end and it felt awful. So as you grow up, you find a way to never be that victim again. You think, if there are only two roles, victim or bully, I'll be the bully from now on. Causing pain becomes a twisted form of self-protection. And by inflicting suffering, you prove to yourself that you're the strong one, not the weak one. It's like the saying, I'll hurt you before you can hurt me. It's an attempt to control the fear by becoming the source of someone else's fear. If, on the other hand, you lean towards masochism, your strategy is different. You too were once hurt without your consent. You felt powerless, and being powerless was terrifying. But maybe you don't believe you can become the aggressor. Maybe you feel too weak or too kind to be the one dishing out the pain. So instead, you choose the pain. It sounds odd, but by actively seeking out someone who mistreats you, by turning your misfortune into your own decision, you create a sense of control. Instead of having cruelty forced upon you unexpectedly, or you guide yourself towards it. Like saying, I'll get hurt, but it's gonna be on my terms. It's a psychological trick, turning a forced act into a chosen act, trying to soften the sting of the past. Both sadists and masochists in their own way are trying to rewrite a painful story. They're telling themselves, this time I'm not helpless, this time I'll know what's happening, and I'm in charge. Of course, this is all happening deep in the mind. Most people aren't aware of what they're doing. It's not a healthy conscious choice, it's a coping mechanism gone wrong. So how do we move forward if we find ourselves falling into these patterns, either as the one who enjoys causing pain or the one who seeks it out? The key is to recognize the pain behind the behavior. Instead of carrying out the cycle, hurting others, or letting yourself be hurt, you need to face what happened in the past. This means acknowledging, yes, I was hurt. Yes, it felt unbearable. Yes, I was scared and powerless. Instead of avoiding these feelings by playing out new scenes of pain, try to confront the sadness underneath. Psychologists suggest that what we really need to do is mourn. Mourn the past that left these scars, cry for the child who was bullied, for the teen who was belittled, for the partner who was emotionally bruised. When you allow yourself to grieve what you went through, you break the cycle. You no longer need to be the bully to avoid being bullied, or seek out abuse to feel in control. Mourning transforms pain into sorrow. Sorrow that can be released and not repeated. I highly suggest therapy, or a session with your local dominatrix. This insight doesn't mean modern BDSM, when practiced safely and consensually, is wrong. On the contrary, today's kink communities emphasize communication, limits, and trust. There is a world of difference between consensual role play and unconscious trauma-driven behavior. But understanding where healthy sadism or masochism might come from helps us be kinder to ourselves and others. If these patterns appear in someone's life, it might be time to seek out professional help, to talk, to open up about what happened long ago, and to finally let yourself feel and release the pain. In short, if we acknowledge the hurt behind the mask, we can choose healing over harm. And that's how we find genuine freedom from old wounds. I hope you enjoyed this video, and always keep things sane, safe, and consensual. See you in the next video.